この大空に翼を広げて。フライトダイアリー。
Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome in to another stream featuring If My Heart Had Wings Flight Diary. And without wasting too much time, let's go on ahead and get into what happened in the previous episode. And I gotta tell you, the Soaring Club is basically being given a run for their money and whatnot. And why is that? Well, they've got a obstacle ahead, but it started off with them coming back in the hangar portion in the office section, to which the crew is basically being taught how to be able to persuade all of the townsfolk to be on their side. Now, so there were some folks that were in their corner as well, one of those being Aoi's mother, who apparently knows a lot of folks, even knowing the owner of the land that they use for the runway. So that was definitely a good thing in that regard. But Akari Kumoe, who was the former student council president of Keifu Academy back in her days in high school before she graduated, she's given the entire crew pointers on how to deal with the teachers in this regard, the faculty and all that. Because one thing about it is the faculty oftentimes will see the students as very inexperienced, so they're likely not to take them seriously. I don't very agree with that as much, but I understand where they're coming from. I'd say ultimately it's a good idea to guide the students when they're starting to steer off course. But to just not take them seriously and dismiss them and whatnot, it seems a little bit evil. Although at the same time, I can see where they're coming from in that regard too, because that's what's going to happen in the real world. If you don't nail that presentation on point, the folks who you are trying to get on your side are not going to take it seriously, and they're just going to dismiss it. So I see both sides in that regard, but being that it's in a teaching environment, the teachers can do a little bit to say, okay, this is what will happen, but now here's how we can teach you to where that is less likely to happen. Maybe that's just me, maybe I'm a little too soft, but I think that's worthy of a discussion and whatnot. And in addition, Kotori has mentioned that who's gonna present this to the faculty? None other than Asa, because Asa, as a matter of fact, has had a very big passion for the Soaring Club. And let me tell you, as cute as she is and also as shy as she is, she can be brave when she wants to be. So that's one of the biggest points of Asa. After all, it was her who invited the Soaring Club to be able to use the hangar that's owned by her grandfather to begin with. So that's something that we should not ever forget. So great going there, Asa. But is she ready for this particular assignment? I'm not entirely sure, but we ultimately would have found out. And in exchange for them finding the place, that made her a full member, of course. And so everybody kudoed Asa in that regard. But of course, as a means of this presentation, I don't think her twin sister Yoru has much faith in her. I'm pretty sure if Yoru was looking at me right now, she'd probably give me a death stare. But of course, moving on, the big day came to when they would absolutely present their proposal to the school. Of course, also minding the fact of what Mr. Tobioka might do or say, even though he saw them in action back in the series of If My Heart Had Wings in particular. But you never know, it could be a change. That Izuka ran and got Kotori as well as Aoi to meet this guy who happens to be the big shot. This is the Kazuto sisters' grandfather. And let me tell you, he's got a lot of weight in Kazegara. He's got a lot of weight. And explaining their proposal to this guy is no easy task. Now, he shared a little story that he used to, deal with gliders as well, but you ain't gonna get its attention just because you got something in common. And that's something that folks tend to forget. commonality does not always equal compatibility. So definitely remember that, especially when it comes to intimate relationships. Commonality does not always equal compatibility. So ultimately, these folks have one simple assignment: show the board chairman just what they can do as the Soaring Club, but maybe also as the Soaring Group. This is not an easy task at all, because what's worse, they don't have an advisor. They don't even have a supervisor to supervise their flights. So that is a huge thorn in the side right there that I don't think they've resolved yet. What's even more is they still got a lot of preparations they got to do. They still got a lot of planning to figure out how they're going to do something that's really going to wow everybody. And they only got 3 days to do it, if not 2 at this point. And of course, back into the meeting of debriefing, if you will, Yoru, of course, probably wasn't all that surprised that Kotori basically went hot-headed and whatnot in spur of the moment. It's understandable, but at the same time, you got to keep our head on straight. In the case of Asa, of course, she shared that the folks wasn't really digging it too much, didn't really take it much seriously, but it come to find out Tobioka actually stood up for them, which was a huge shocker. Mr. Tobioka, who was once majorly against the Soaring Club, was basically standing up for them. I think he might have turned over a new leaf once he saw them in action back in If My Heart Had Wings. So now they've got 2 days until the flight, and apparently they're going to do some smoke acrobatics, if you will. So we'll see how that turns out. Of course, they got to figure out how to practice this, because they can't do it on the glider itself because, again, they don't have a supervisor for that. And I get it, there's a lot of accountability. But everyone dove in headfirst into their work, and that's where we last left off. So that's where we're going to pick up on the next side. So with that, let's go ahead and transition over to that portion, and then let's see what we've got moving forward. And before we begin, let's just start the replay recorder, so therefore I'll have some footage to do for my next montage of review and whatnot. So with that, we'll bring the game audio to cinema level, and then let us begin on our journey, continuing what's going on in If My Heart Had Wings Flight Diary. Here we go. Everyone dove headfirst into their work. It was tough with the short time we had, but now that we had a fixed target, we could go full throttle. Everyone kept working hard. And then, right around sundown, everyone gathered outside the hangar and stared intently at the sky. A single plane was flying in the air, leaving trails of smoke.
おー、なかなかいいんじゃない？
Oh, look at that. It was an RC plane. Asa had brought it from home. Aga had set it up with a smoke tracer.
お尻から煙吹いてると、なんだか墜落してるみたいね。
I guess you gotta add a little color to the smoke to, I guess, give it a little bit of a more appealing appearance, I guess.
すみません。重量とかの関係で1本しか積めなくて。
The RC plane was leaving a single trail of smoke from its tail. Honestly, I could see what Kotori meant. It did look like it was going down.
でも、イメージはつかめたんじゃないかしら。これが左右の翼端につくのよね。2機並べて飛ばしたりできないかしら。できなくはないでしょうけど。おーい、なんか面白いことやってるね。
Izuka was coming up the hill.
陣中見舞いに来たよ。はい、これ差し入れ。重かった。
She'd brought the ultimate super pick-me-up, a watermelon.
でっかい。桐野さん、バケツに水張って冷やしておいてちょうだい。はーい。
Haruka took the huge watermelon from Izuka and waddled off to chill it in the water.
これは何をしてるの？あさってのデモ飛行のリハーサルみたいなものです。 本番ではグライダーの翼が白い尾を引いて飛ぶのよ。
へえ、そんなことできるんだ。
Izuka's eyes sparkled as we watched the RC plane leaving a trail of smoke.
僕に何か手伝えることがないかな。
今は特にないですかね。
そっか。ごめんね。みんなにばかり負担かけちゃって。
いいんです。これは私たちが私たちのためにやってることだもの。
True that.
そうそう。むしろイスカさんの野望を利用させてもらっちゃって。
Izuka shook her head.
みんなの協力のおかげで僕もまた飛べるかもしれないんだもん。雲の回廊をね。
I think I forgot to set the EQ on this. Yeah, I think I did. Okay.
準備はどこまで進んでるの？
一応出し物が決まって今その装置作りしながら当日来てもらう人たちに声をかけつつ
If at all possible. Everyone turned to look at me when my voice rose as I spoke on the phone. Right. Yes. Of course. I understand. No. I know it's a difficult request. I hung up. My shoulders slumped.
どうだったのって顔に書いてあるね。
Yeah, the supervisor can't make it. I'd been on the phone with our old supervisor. I'd asked him to come watch our final flight.
急な話だったもんね。
来られないとどうなるの？
You're grounded. We can't fly.
そんな。
先生に事情を説明して先輩たちだけで飛べないでしょうか。
顧問の山野辺先生はいらっしゃるんですし。
I shook my head. This big flight coming up is supposed to be our chance to defend ourselves.
マイナスの印象になりそうなことは避けなきゃいけないわね。飛び岡も来るしね。
That teacher in particular would never sit back and let us fly without a proper supervisor.
じゃあどうするの？
誰か代わりの人を探すしか。
Yeah, but we've already looked in all the likely places. The person who'd agreed to come starting The person who'd agreed to come starting next term had plans that day and could not make it. We'd also asked a few other people, but it was so sudden and no one was free.
本当なら僕がやらなきゃいけないことだよね。
I don't think they'll trust you, but if you have the qualifications, then it should work. She was actually going to be the supervisor in the future. As the leader of the new Soaring Group, she'd be the one supervising the Keifu Soaring Club. But she was still working to get the certifications she needed. Yeah, so it ain't gonna work this early.
困った。
I think what we're missing at this point is a miracle. Otori held her head. She clearly felt responsible, since she had been the one who'd agreed to Old Man Kazuto's schedule without thinking. But it wasn't like she'd had any other choice.
電車で移動可能な範囲のよそのクラブに片っ端からお願いしてみる？
It'll be hard without any connections or an introduction. Maybe that was our only choice.
でもなんか忘れてる気がするのよね。
That what you are missing is a miracle. Such as...
ほら、大事な人、誰かいたような気がする。
She's talking about Amane. That's what she's talking about. She's talking about Amane. Otori had an odd expression, like something was stuck in her throat. Izuka watched a moment, then brought up a very important point.
外の監督さんが来る前ってどうやって活動してたの？
どうやってって。そうだよ、いるじゃん一人。浜根
Called it. Ah! I clapped my hands in realization.
臨時の監督、浜根ちゃんに頼めばよかったのよ。協力してくれるって言ってたしさ。
True that. All you gotta do is feed her pizza and she'd be good to go.
でもあの人携帯つながるかな。
We had to try calling. She only had about 40% response rate with email. Let's try it anyway. I opened up my contacts and hit call. Nope, no answer.
やっぱり。
I wonder if she'll call back.
バカバカ、浜根ちゃんのアホ。携帯電話が何のためにあると思ってんのよ。
Or making calls, but obviously she's busy at times. So why don't you get your head out of your rear end and understand that she's a very busy individual. Jeez.
案ずることはないわ。
Aga said in full confidence.
今の私たちにはあの人がいる。
Are they talking about Tatsuya?
浜根先輩の専属助手、雲井あかりさんが。
Oh, yeah, that's true. Technically, Akari is her assistant.
それだ。葵、連絡先聞いてるよね。
On it. I called Akari's phone. I wasn't sure she'd answer, since she was still at work. Please answer, please answer.
はい、もしもし、雲井です。
She answered.
何ですか？
Oh, sorry, nothing.
宮瀬君？一体何の用かしら。
It's Amani there. Oh, sorry. It's Amani. Oh, gosh, that's funny. Is Amani there? We need to get in touch with her immediately, but she never answers. My voice grew weaker as I spoke. I realized they both must be really busy. It was probably really selfish to bother them with this personal stuff right now.
残念ですが、力にはなってあげられません。
Oh, come on, Akari. Come on, surely you can pull some strings somehow. Pull her ear for crying out loud. Oh, please. It will only take a minute.
いえ、そういうことではありません。力になってあげたくてもできないのです。
Dang. Why not?
望月先生なら脱走しました。行き先を知りたいのはこっちなのよ。
I never thought I would say this, but apparently Amani needs a GPS tracker. What? I pulled the phone from my ear. Everyone looked at me in shock. They'd apparently been able to hear what Akari said.
失礼。もし行き先が分かったらご連絡ください。
Check all the restaurants. That's the most likely place she would be. Right, will do. I said goodbye and hung up. So, that's it. I bet you she's gonna show up right in front of them. Hmm.
相変わらずバカだね。
Yeah. While everyone stood around in shock, Izuka alone seemed the most happy.
しょうがないわ。浜根ちゃんの消息が分かるのを期待しつつ、 よそのクラブにお願いしてみましょう。
We gathered up the RC plane and headed to the office to contact other clubs. First, we had to look up their info online. However, well, there's your miracle. Sure, you lost one being the watermelon, but maybe that was the miracle in itself because that baited apparently a bottomless pit over to you. Everyone froze for an instant at the sight of Amani scarfing down our watermelon.
ここにいた。やあ、君たち。スイカ、先にいただいてるぞ。
Alright, well, there's your feast, so supervise our flight. It must have been really sweet because her face glowed while she waved at us.
なんでここに先輩が？
Haruka, standing beside Amani, answered Agaha's question.
私、スイカを冷やそうと思って事務所に来たっす。こっちの方が冷房効いてるから。そしたら、いたっす。そこの机の下に。
What was she doing under the desk? What? We looked, and there was a blanket rumbled up underneath a desk at the back of the office. It looked like someone had been sleeping there, which is probably exactly what had happened.
発見した時は誰か死んでるのかと思ってマジビビったっす。
Understandable. Sounded like a natural reaction if you thought the office was empty. It was lucky she did not drop the watermelon.
参考までに聞くけど、あまねちゃん、いつからそこにいたの？
Couple of days.
昨日の夜からだと思うぞ。
And probably had no food with her.
思うぞって自分のことでしょ？全然気づかなかったわ。
The place she'd bedded down was in a blind corner, actually. So it was the perfect place to hide away, and also explained why no one had noticed her sleeping there. And she'd been sleeping there all this time.
ここは仕事がはかどるからな。勝手に使わせてもらってたんだ。
Akari's looking for you.
あかりなんか知らないぞ。神々とうるさいんだ。
She kept chomping watermelon, even with all her pouting.
あんたね、社会性ってものが欠如してるんだから。面倒見てくれる人の言うことくらいちゃんと聞かなきゃダメでしょうが。
大人は疲れるんだ。仕事ってみんなうるさくてな。
Hey, when you're a genius, that's what ends up happening. You just gotta figure out how to balance that.
まだ大学生のイスカにはわからないだろうけどな。
I ain't buying that. She may be a student when it comes to an educational institution, Amani, but you yourself are still a student to life. Okay? So you might want to slow it down there a bit.
なんだとこの。
それより
Yeah, let's bring this conversation back to the forefront.
そうだ、あまねちゃん、私らのスイカ残ってるでしょうね。
I don't think that's the actual conversation right now, Kotori. Don't you need a supervisor for this very important flight in 48 hours? That's what you're worried about? Thank you, Aoi! Thank you!
半分くらいは。
We'll take it. Alright, straight to business about this supervisor stuff. Come on, chop chop. The giant watermelon had shrunk by 50%.
楽しみにしてたのに。
We'll get another one.
すま
まない。お腹が空いてたんだ。昨日から何も食べてなくてな。
You got a bad habit of doing that. You got a real bad habit of doing that.
これはもうお願いを聞いてもらうしかないわね。
Right.
なんだ？
引退フライトまで臨時の監督やってよ、
Your licenses are still good, right?
臨時の監督？ああ、構わないぞ。
Boom, there's that problem solved.
その代わり、それまでここの机を借りてていいか？
I think that goes without saying. We all looked at Asa. It was her place after all.
もちろん構いませんよ。いくらでも使ってください。
That solves that problem.
はーい、やったー。お風呂にはちゃんと入ってくださいね。
Yeah, you might want to do that.
あかりさんへの連絡はどうする？
If we do, she'll take her home.
黙ってましょう。あかりさんには悪いけど。
So it was settled. Sorry, Akari. She'll find her eventually. Kotori announced to the members. Kotori announced to the members gathered around the monitor and clicked the mouse. The 3D glider model on the screen performed an aerobatic move, white smoke trailing from its wingtips.
かっこいい。かなり見応えありそうですね。おお、いいじゃん、いいじゃん。
Everyone seemed impressed. We were watching a simulation Kotori had programmed.
私たちにできるアクロバット飛行をシミュレータで再現してみたの。例の煙のギミックもつけてみたわ。
いつの間にこんな機能を実装したんだ？
Kotori had made a movie using the additional functions she'd programmed into Amane's simulator. So instead of just using it for training, we could input flight plans and watch the flight just as a spectator. Even though Kotori had said herself it wasn't a very useful function.
空いた時間で作ってみたのよ。役に立ってよかったわ。
グライダーでこんな飛び方もできるんですね。
With the right, momentum.
翼から白い尾を引いてるおかげで迫力が違うわね。
それでも私たちの機体は重量の重い複雑機だし、アクロバットには不向きなのよね。
Originally, Amane had designed it specifically for the Morning Glory flight. It hadn't been designed for aerobatics, but I still think the audience will enjoy it. We'll get a chance to show off our skills.
そうね。お遊びサークルとか抜かしてたどっかのじいさんをギャフーと言わせてやるんだから。
すみません、すみません。
Aga, how's it going with you?
あとは取り付けだけ。はるみくんに手伝ってもらえば明日の午前中には終わると思うけど。
もう一機のラジコン飛行機の改造はもうできてます。
Kotori had recommended flying two in tandem, so they'd equipped another plane.
シミュレータとラジコン飛行機とでリハーサルの代わりができそうね。
Everyone seemed relieved when she said this. We were all really worried that we'd have to go to a final flight with zero practice. Especially now with all the people coming to watch and the future of the Soaring Club and Isuka's group riding on it.
それじゃあ今日は後片付けして撤収にしましょうか。明日は朝からやるわよ。
Oh boy.
アイス食べてく人。
That actually does sound pretty good right now. Kotori asked everyone, like usual, when we reached the front of the convenience store. This was where we split up. The dorm people, the station people, the neighborhood people. Even though everyone was exhausted by the long day, we all still shuffled into the shop.
今日は奮発してハーゲンダッツのストロベリー願掛けってやつね。
Is that right?
私はちょいと金欠だからバリバリ君用なし味でいいや。私も貧乏なんでバリバリ君ポタージュ味。何それ、そんなのあるの？あるっすよ、ちゃんと。というかまるっきりコーンポタージュの味がするっす。美味しそう。私もそれにすればよかった。
Okay, Asa, you get one too.
姉さんも物好きね。
I do too. As the girls went into a frenzy over choosing their ice creams, Harumi and I went outside to wait. I'm really glad you joined, Harumi.
一時はどうなることかと思ったけど、なんとか間に合いそうね。おまねちゃんも無事捕獲できてよかった？
Well, I guess you should thank Iska for that bait in particular, huh?
先輩たちの最後のフライトですもんね。
Asa seemed kind of sad.
最悪、私たち全員にとってのラストフライトになりかねないけどね。
Yeah, you ain't lying.
そうならないように頑張ってくださいね、先輩。
We'll do our best.
心配しなくてもうまくいくわよ。あまねちゃんもいてくれるしね。なんだろうね、別に何もしてくれなくてもいてくれるだけで安心感があるっていうか。
I guess since we want to put on a good show, we're really going all out on this one. We'd left Amani back in the office. She'd apparently reversed her internal clock and was now hard at work.
変な先輩っすよね。私、机の下に寝てるの発見した時、思わず悲鳴あげちゃったっすよ。
Understandable.
その声聞いて目を覚まして私の顔見て、いやー美味しそうなスイカだねって言ったっす。
Probably said that and acted like a zombie as well. I could imagine it as clear as if I'd been there to see it.
ごめんね、あんな変な人が伝説の先輩で。
But now the question is, was she actually a legend?
だからこそのレジェンドなんだけどね。
Everyone talked on as we finished our ice cream and threw away our trash.
それじゃ帰りますか。はるみちゃん、桐野さんのナイト役よろしくね。
はい。
Harumi answered. His face went bright red and he stood up straight as a rod.
桐野さん、行こうか。
Watch the two of them pair up.
それじゃあ先輩、また明日っす。
Haruka waved and walked off with Harumi, totally oblivious.
はるみちゃんのうぶさも大概だけど、あれ見て何にも気づいてない様子の桐野さんも大概だわね。
They got time. Asa, Yoru, Asa, Yoru. You two use the bath first, okay?
夜ちゃん、背中流しっこしよう。今日は汗かいたから早くさっぱりしたい。
Hot and humid around that area? That's okay. It's around here where I'm at too. The twins chatted happily as they went inside. I stopped and turned back to look the way we'd come. Kotori was about to follow Asa and Yoru inside, but she noticed me and stopped too.
どうしたの？
Huh? Oh, nothing. I was looking off toward our secret base. It's our actual final flight, which means it's our last chance.
何か言った？
No, nothing. I'm going to take off tomorrow afternoon for a bit.
多分大丈夫だと思うけど、何か用事なの？
Yeah, kind of. I wasn't sure before, but I've put together my own plan.
何計画って？
You'll see when the time comes. I turned and went past her into the dorm.
何よチキってそれいつよ
Don't forget to lock up.
こら葵
Oh boy, I tell ya. The next morning, I stopped by school to report to Mr. Yamanobe about Amane's supervision. After that, I went straight to the hangar to help with the final preparations.
このボタンを押せば煙が出るから
Aga had finished attaching the smoke equipment to the wingtips. He was telling Kotori and I about the remote installed in the cockpit.
煙が出るのは5分少々それが限界だった十分よね葵
Yeah. We would use those 5 minutes to do the absolute best aerobatics we could do. We'd worked it out in yesterday's meeting. We would be taking turns piloting during the aerobatics. We each had different specialties in the cockpit.
小鳥先輩こっち準備できましたわかったすぐ行く
Everyone was outside. The 2 RC planes were there on standby.
いいわよ始めてせーの
The 2 planes took off together. Asa and Yoru each controlled one.
姉さん合わせるわお願い
The 2 planes had been flying separately, but they drew closer and then started flying as one. Yoru was following Asa's plane.
もう少し離れて飛べないやってみます
As Kotori ordered, the 2 RC planes spread out to about the glider wingtip width. It must have been incredibly difficult to maintain that distance.
さすが双子ね
Kotori was really impressed by the synchronized flying. Hey, they are twin sisters after all.
アゲハ先輩お願いしますじゃあ行くよポチッとな
Aga set off the smoke trails. The 2 RC planes started leaving tracers. They drew 2 wide lines across the sky. Oh, I see now. So that's how it works.
エルロンロール行きます
Hey there, Eve. Welcome in. Hopefully you have a fantastic Thursday. The 2 planes spun just the way a glider's wingtips would move during a roll, tracing the lines. The wide lines drew a double helix.
綺麗っすね
うん
Everyone loved it. I thought it would work too. However... Kotori? What's wrong?
いや別にいいんじゃないかな
I'd say she's thinking about another type of stunt. Kotori was oddly quiet. I thought she'd be the most excited.
おおやってるな
Amane came sneaking out of the hangar. Thank you, just watching your stream and enjoying some cookies and milk. Now that's the way to do it. Some nice cookies and milk. That's the way to do it, I tell ya. Not even Cookie Monster could pull that off. I guess she'd heard the noise and came to see what was up.
これかアクロバット飛行って
Amane stood shading her eyes with her hand, watching the synchronized RC flying, which in itself was a pretty great performance.
どうですかあまね先輩いいんじゃないか
She said without any particular emotion. She was less impressed than expected. This is more or less our plan for tomorrow.
ああ見させてもらったぞ引退フライトの計画書
何せ監督だからな。
Look at that smug face. Look at that smug face. Look at that smug face for real. She stuck her perfectly shaped nose in the air ever so proudly. We had asked her for help, but she was acting like it was a huge deal or something.
どう思った？
そうだな。
Amani seemed uncharacteristically hesitant to speak.
いいと思ったぞ。ただ、なんだか君たちらしくなかったな。
What exactly would be them?
私たちらしくない？
You mean the aerobatics?
でも普通に飛んでも見てる方はつまんないだろうし。
まあそうなんだがな。
Her face looked troubled as she watched the smoke drawn by the two RC planes.
そうだな。今のは忘れてくれ。
I doubt they're gonna forget it at this point. Amani, having finished her thought, walked off holding a small plastic bucket. Where are you going?
お風呂入ってくる。
Well, she's keeping her promise. She waved and walked off down the hill. It's always something with these girls, I swear. Yeah, always something with these girls, absolutely. But, you know, some with the guys, too. After we finished the RC plane test, we all ate lunch in a corner of the hangar.
先輩たち、なんか暗いね。
Now, what exactly is wrong, that's to be determined.
テストはうまくいったのに、なんで失敗したみたいな空気になってんですか？
だってね。
Ageha sighed, a meatball from her bento stuck on her chopsticks.
あまね先輩にあんな風に言われちゃったらさ。
I called it, didn't I?
でもすごくいいと思いましたよ。俺見応えあると思います。
私もそう思うっす。
The younger students did their best to cheer us up, but we were all pretty low.
あまねちゃんの言う通りよ。私たちらしくない。だって私たち今までアクロバット飛行なんてやってこなかったんだもの。
そうだよね。
This time had just been a little practice for the event. Not that much more than playing around to see what we could do. When in doubt, bucket. So we would just fly around like normal? No one answered my question. No one thought it was bad to do aerobatics. We had come up with the idea of aerobatics to give the audience something to watch. And yet. But it's not really you, is it? Somehow it all seemed thin. But we'd ignored that and kept going because we didn't have any other ideas. When she says it like that, it kind of hits home, doesn't it?
先輩のことがっかりさせちゃったみたいな気になる。
いつまでも先輩離れできない人たちですね。これから引退していくっていうのに。
ちょっと夜ちゃん。
She may have a point.
そういや葵、午後から抜けるって言ってなかったっけ？
Yeah.
今のうちに行ってきたら？どんな用事か知らないけど。
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'll do that. I closed up my bento and stood to leave. I wasn't in the mood, though.
どこか行くの？
Just out for a bit.
なんか個人的な計画があるんだって。
Otori did not look pleased. But apparently, she wasn't in the mood to push it either. I should be back in about an hour. I said and left. I bought it. But I'm not sure this is a good time, I said to myself, sighing. I'd left everyone back at the hangar in a real funk, and I was worried how they were doing. Well, I'm done shopping, so I guess I'll head back. I hurried through Wendy's, crowded in the summer vacation afternoon. And then...
Yo, Aoi じゃないか.
Hey, it's Tatsuya. What's good, homie? Tatsuya appeared out of the crowd. Hey, Tatsuya. What's up?
アゲハの親父さんに届け物だよ.
We were right in the middle of Ageha's family's shop, Himegi Sports.
お前こそこんなところで何してるんだ?
Oh, just, you know. I hid my shopping bag behind my back. Are you headed back?
ああ.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a wedding ring for Kotori. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Tatsuya said and started walking. I walked along beside him. I'm kind of interested in trying out a bento box, but I have no idea what people put in each section of the box. I think rice is always a common thing that they do in the bento box. And then probably some veggie and maybe even some other type of, maybe some meat, maybe like some fish or something like that. I heard they're usually balanced meals. But you know what? Maybe I should try a bento sometimes. If they come pre-made. Because I mean, I'm not bad in the kitchen, but I'm not great either.
あまねがそんなことを.
Everyone's really down. Me too, actually.
確かにアクロバット飛行はお前たちらしくないかもな.
But we've got guests coming. So just flying isn't gonna cut it.
それでも十分に見ものだと思うぞ.
People who weren't used to a glider might actually find it exciting enough. You really think so?
さあな.
Maybe.
観客のことなんか気にするな. 明日の主役はお前たちなんだから.
Yep, true that. Hang on, folks. I gotta do a little back crack here. There we go. Oof. That feels much better. There we go. All right, we got movement now. All right, we're good. We are good now.
自分たちのやりたいことをすればいいじゃないか.
I wonder what that is. And then I understood it. We didn't really want to do aerobatics after all. Oh, or at all, I should say. That was what Amane had meant. And we were all upset because she was right on the nose. Honestly, it's deciding if she should make a box of brownies in this hot weather. I mean, you can take the chance if you want to.
いつかなら多分こういうんじゃないかな. 君の正しい答えはそこにある.
It is right in the heart. Saying this, he pointed at my chest. Here, huh? I just now realized that feeling of excitement we'd shared when Izuka had first asked for help was gone. I don't know that you were an uncooked spaghetti noodle. Yeah, well, the noodle in my head definitely is undercooked. We'd focused too much on the presentation and on the schedule. I thought, we'll try something else, something more fitting to our final flight.
ああ、頑張れ.
Tatsuya said and ruffled my hair. Hey, come on, Tatsuya!
明日楽しみにしてるぞ。
おじいちゃんからだ。はい。もしもし、朝です。はい。はい。え、おじさんが？うん、わかりました。それじゃ。
おじいちゃんってもしかして理事長さん？
はい。おじいちゃんからのことづてで、明日俊一おじさんも見に来るそうです。
Who's Mr. Shunichi?
誰それ？
市長です。
The mayor is coming to see this? The mayor is coming to see this.
は？市長？北斗七星の脇で光ってるあの見えちゃいけない星？違い
ます。うちの市の市長です。
なんで市長さんが見に来るわけ？
I wouldn't be surprised if Mr. Kazuto said there was going to be quite a show.
俊一おじさんはおじいちゃんの友達なんですよ。他にもお友達がたくさん見に来るって言ってました。
Is that right?
いや、意味わかんないし、なんでうちらの引退フライトをそんな偉い人が見に来るの？
I want to repeat that.
いや、意味わかんないし、なんでうちらの引退フライトをそんな偉い人が見に来るの？
I mean, it could work in your favor, right?
そう。これは何か企んでるわね。
They always do, Yoru. They always do.
どうしよう。小鳥は小鳥どこ行った？
Okay, this is starting to hurt.
部長ならさっき出て行きましたよ。
Ow. I passed by the dorm to drop my stuff off and headed back towards the hangar. I found Kotori sitting alone on the hill. Hopefully her tire doesn't go flat again. She was staring absently up at the clouds flowing past. I started to call out, but stopped. Her face had that look just like the day she whispered. The sky looks so far away.
葵？
Kotori noticed me first and called out.
もう用事は済んだの？
Yeah, sorry to take off like that.
別に。
She said and looked back to the sky. Are you thinking about something? She didn't offer any further answers, just stretched her hand up toward the sky.
少し近づいたと思ったのにな。あまねちゃんの言う通りよね。なんか全然私たちらしくないことやろうとしてた。
Yeah.
あまねちゃんがあんなこと言ったのはさ、あまねちゃんも私たちとの思い出を特別に思ってくれてるからだよね。
Yeah, true that.
だから私たちが私たちらしくないことするのが嫌だったんじゃないかな。
I think so too. Why else would Amane have chosen her words so carefully? She knew that what she said would have a real influence on us.
その気持ちを裏切るフライトが私たちの最後のフライトだなんて。そう思うと足が震えてくる。どうしよう、こんなんじゃ 明日飛べないよ。
I mean, if you check the weather report, maybe you can find some thermals that you can take the glider really, really high up. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. Kotori wrapped her arms around herself like she was freezing cold.
あの時と同じ。桐野さんを乗せてストールした時と。
Yeah, don't do that again.
あの時私、空に見放された気がした。また同じになりそうで怖い。
Kotori. Even this close to her, I couldn't think of anything to say. I was lost in the same fog of confusion. And then Haruka showed up. She came running up in panic.
ここにいたっすか。部長、ハゲハ先輩が呼んでるっす。大変だーって騒いでるっす。
Kotori just hung her head, not even looking at Haruka.
部長、どうしたっすか。
桐野さん、あの時はごめんね。あの時私のせいで怖い思いさせちゃったから。
Kotori had apologized over and over already. And Haruka could only move her head to the side in confusion, not sure what she meant.
先輩たち、元気ないっすね。どうしちゃったんすか。
I think maybe she just feels she's lost her way a bit.
飛び方を忘れちゃったみたいなの。
飛び方っすか。
Kotori nodded weakly.
もしかしたら明日飛べないかもしれない。
Haruka's expression fell as she saw how miserable Kotori was.
それは残念っす。また部長たちのフライトが見られるって楽しみにしてたのに。
She said and sat down beside Kotori. She wrapped her arms around her knees and rocked forward and back a little.
見たかったっす。部長の飛ぶところ。
Maybe that's a push that Kotori needed. Kotori seemed uncomfortable now, sulking like a child beside Haruka. Haruka could not pilot the glider herself, but she did really seem to enjoy watching the rest of us do it. I know that this series is long, but wasn't there a duck or a chicken in this game? Like early in the game? Yes, there was, Eve. The duck is known as Mr. Hat because he wears a hat on his head. And he actually lives in the Flying Fish Manor dormitory. So yes, you are correct. He still hangs out in the dormitory. Mostly he hangs out in Kotori's room in there. Or if there are times to where he'll just probably go somewhere and just, you know, just do duck stuff.
あなた、私が飛んでるところを見てソアリング部に入部したって言ってたわよね。
はい、そうっす。
その時私どんな風に飛んでた？
Kotori asked timidly. I think she wanted to remember how it felt to enjoy flying by hearing Haruka's memory of it.
どんなって、すっごいかっこよかったっすよ。もう最高でした。
Haruka's voice rose, like she was reliving the excitement of that day. Kotori and I were kind of taken by surprise. We hadn't been doing any aerobatics, just boring old glider flight. So why should she be that excited? Haruka gazed out over the hill, her eyes far away. When in doubt, again, quack. I gotta drink some water.
あの朝焼けの空 郎たちが飛んでいったっす。
What did you say?
だから朝焼けの空っすよ。みんなでここに集まって見てたっす。
それもしかして2年前のモーニンググローリー？
モーニングなんか綺麗な雲の道ができてたっす。
Kotori and I stared at each other in shock. You were there too?
はい、いたっすよ。あの綱引きみたいなのもやったっす。
Really? Kotori stared at Haruka like she couldn't believe what she was hearing. But back then, you weren't.
お姉ちゃんが慶風の卒業生っす。なんかお友達から電話がかかってきて、私も連れてってくれたっす。
じゃあ、あなたはあの時私を飛ばせてくれた人だったんだ。
Okay, serious moment, serious moment. A huge crowd of people had pulled the rope to help us take off. And apparently Haruka had been one of them.
一度離陸して見えなくなった後、夜明け前の丘を大きな翼を広げたグライダーが駆け上がってきたっす。超感動したっす。かっこいいなーって。それで私、ソアリング部に入ったっすよ。
Haruka looked almost embarrassed, but happy. The sight made Kotori shake. It was like she was just trying to take it all in.
そういう大事なことはもっと早く言いなさいよ。
No. Because honestly, it wasn't time for you to know. But this was as good as any, so no. 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 And yes, I'm glitching, Eve. I'm definitely glitching right now. I'm glitching because listening to this bozo right now. Listening to this bozo, yes, I am glitching.
すみませんっす。
そうなんだ。あなたがあの時私を飛ばせてくれたんだ。
After she screamed at Haruka, Kotori kept repeating this to herself. That day, we'd only taken off with everyone's help. We never could have done it ourselves. That's it!
何？
Kotori spun while I suddenly shouted. I've thought of something great! I whispered my idea into Kotori's ear. Kotori's eyes widened at my idea. Kotori tried to talk, but nothing came out. Instead, she took my open hand and forcefully held it to the left side of her chest. Kotori's heart thundered in her chest. That racing heartbeat explained her excitement more eloquently than any words possibly could. And Kotori looked up to the sky. The white clouds flowed slowly across the brilliant blue background.
高いけど飛びたい。
Yeah, let's fly.
小鳥先輩帰ってきました。
Yes, she's back.
小鳥、大変なの。
そんなのあとみんな集
Kotori brushed Agaha off and gathered the club. She rushed through our new flight plan.
マジっすか。
I guess she is for real. But you know what? We'll find out how realistic and how real it is on the next stream. Oh my gosh, this is a cliffhanger of cliffhangers. I still got it. I still got it with the cliffhangers. Oh man. Oh man, I still got it with the cliffhangers, man. Y'all, can you believe it? I know some of y'all is mad as heck. If Incubus was here right now, bless him. But if Incubus was here right now, he would literally be like, this dude did not just do this. He did not just do this just now. He did not just do this right now. Did this dude really just do a doggone? I'm pretty sure when he watches the VOD for this, he's gonna say the same thing. Because that's just how I am in a nutshell. But anyways, we're actually gonna stop things here and we're gonna continue on next time. And unfortunately, I can't do streaming for very long at this particular time because I gotta get to bed because I'm old. Okay, folks, sue me. But anyways, thanks everyone for actually standing by and look forward to the next one because I think we're all gonna be very curious on what it's gonna be. But moving forward, just know that tomorrow on Friday, there's going to be another stream of Resident Evil 4, and that'll be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely look forward to that. And also look forward to on Saturday, we're going to be doing some more Super Mario 64, and that's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely stick around because we're going to have some fun for the remainder of the week as well as for this weekend. And also, if you're watching for the very first time, just know that my primary outlet is my YouTube channel, so you can check out all kinds of material on there, especially the gaming playthroughs that I've done in the past, as well as the tech tutorials that's related to Discord bots, as well as some things for OBS if you are a content creator and you're looking for some tips to possibly better your audio and what tools are available in OBS. I definitely have a couple of those videos I'm working on more. And also with the life lesson series, there was a recent VOD that I actually posted that actually was between me, Omnibus, as well as Sir Incubus, to where we covered a review of the life lesson series videos. And we're going to be doing some more stuff to which some of it might even spin off into an actual monthly panel. But we'll see about that. But that's one series I think is a necessity, but we won't give you too much at once because we want you to be able to chew it. And also you can check me out on Twitter. I refuse to say X. So twitter.com/sound_otaku_ or just look me up on there at sound_otaku_. And also if you want links to any of my outlets, they are available at the master link on the Linktree. And also if you want to contact me for a project you have, whether it be a voiceover, and no, I don't use this microphone, this is only for live streams. So if you want me for voiceovers or if you want me to do some audio processing, just hit me up on either the email address here or on Discord. So once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, happy mixing everyone.